right, Shalom. First off, I'm going to start up with saying all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Rakakadash. That's all praises to who the world ignorantly calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh for the Heavenly Father, and the Bahashem meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai being the true name for who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for preaching His truth and teaching other men to do so also. And all praises to you, brothers out there, and all peace to you, brothers out there, preachers word in truth and sincerity. The men, women, and children that are believers. My brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone, Arizona camp, Lord Will, with another video to edify, and I wanted to, break down, some stuff in this video, and you see it on the screen. It says we are in the battle for the soul of this nation, which you gotta understand that when the Lord puts stuff out there, the Lord is in control of everything. And the higher up you go, the higher up you go, and the more acclaim you get, the less meaningless babble people let come out. It's very intentional what people say when they get to a certain point. So the stuff that's being said in this, you gotta really dissect what they're saying, because this is when the scriptures tell you that knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy time and strength of salvation, because the true knowledge, the true wisdom is the word of the Heavenly Father. So through you knowing this word, you're able to look at this stuff and scrutinize it properly, because you know exactly what the Lord said. You cannot go outside of what the Lord said, because no matter what aspect of life these people are dealing with, it's the Lord's plan at the end of the day. So you can't go outside the Lord's plan. So I'm gonna play this video, interject where the Spirit allows me. I got a few presets pulled up, but I started watching this video the second and third time, and it's so many precepts that can pop up. And peep the fact that the title of this is "We're in a Battle for the Soul of This Nation." Biden outlines racial equality agenda. And then peep the timing on this, 13 minutes.
I made it very clear. At the moment it arrived as a nation where we face deep racial inequities in America and systemic racism that has plagued our nation for far, far too long. I said that over the course of the past year that the blinders have been taken off the nation, the American people.
You said the blinders have been taken off, right? Said the blinders have been taken off the face of the American people. This is Isaiah 25 and in 7. It says, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations." And part of that covering cast was that Roman Catholic Church dogma and agenda, what you people basically know today, but majority of the world knows today is modern Christianity. That was a big part of that covering cast, but also over our nation, over the nation of Israel, America in its whole is an extremely, dark covering cast, because Jake for a long time, because the curses started wearing down a little bit on him, or Jake, as their custom is, got used to the ass whooping. So they tried to, act like this shit wasn't really hitting no more. And now this nation is putting in your face that, yeah, you still get persecuted. Even if you go in the book of Isaiah 2, let me get it, says, going into what he was saying too. This is Isaiah 19 and 2, it says, "And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." And now, the scriptures tell you in the book of Revelation, there's a place that's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. When you go into a spirit, it basically goes into a character. So, what has the same character and spirit of Egypt and Sodom? America. So, who would be the modern day Egyptians in character? Would be so called American Edomite male, Edomites in general. Not even just the male, the women too. So the Lord said he's going to set these Edomites against each other. It says, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof." Didn't he just say that the blinders have come off of America? So people are really seeing how filthy this place is. It says, shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory, right? "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards." Now, here it is in a time where they just tried to get at the Capitol on the 6th, I believe it is, or whatever date it was, 6th of January. They had their inauguration on the 20th, right? But instead of just, doing that inauguration via video call or something like that, they pushed it through to try to make sure that shit went through. Because when you go into the word augur, which is from the word inaugurate, when you go into that word augur, the Romans had inaugurations as well, and it all went back to those people that what they observed flight patterns of birds in order to tell the future, which all goes back into witchcraft. So inauguration really just means the changing of, when you look up the word, it means the changing of hands. So it's just the handing over of those spirits, man. So they fought hard to keep that ritual up, man. You gotta walk. When I watched it this time, when I watched the inauguration this time, you got them walking through catacombs and all that, which was real. It was real fucking real wicked, man. When you really look at it, like, why the fuck would you want to walk through catacombs before you come into power? I'm gonna keep playing the video.
What many Americans didn't see or had simply refused to see couldn't be ignored any longer.
Now, don't the scriptures tell you they speak wickedly? He just said many Americans didn't see or refused to see, right? And Jake has been saying it for a long time that these cops, man, they be fucking them up. This is Psalm 73 and 7. It says, "Their eyes stand out with fatness; they have more than the heart could wish." And this is going to the Edomites, man. So-called white man, as a whole, as a fucking whole, even though there might be some poor fucking Edomites out there, as a whole, you devils live it up. As a whole, even you bum ass Edomites will sit here and have property, got a lifted fucking truck, no matter what year it is, and it's owned by you. You know? So because you had all these gifts, you didn't have to worry about this stuff. So since the Lord's starting to turn those curses back on you, now you're seeing how fucked up it is. It says verse 8, it says, "They are corrupt, they speak wickedly concerning oppression, they speak loftily," because for a long time they were just acting like niggas deserve it. So now after this whole Capitol riot, niggas is getting locked up. Edomites are sitting there saying, I'm being looked at as a terrorist simply because I have on a American flag hat and I listen to country music. You devils are starting to catch your licks too, man. But for a long time, you spoke wickedly concerning the oppression that Jake was sitting there reporting all the time.
Those 8 minutes and 46 seconds that took George Floyd's life opened the eyes of millions of Americans and millions of people around all over the world. It was the knee on the neck of justice, and it wouldn't be forgotten. It stirred the conscience and of tens of millions of Americans. And in my view, it marked a turning point in this country's attitude toward racial justice. When his 6-year-old daughter, Gianna.
Hi, we're OfferPad, the new way homes are sold. Go to OfferPad.com, tell us about your home.
Who I met with when I met with the family, I leaned down to say hi to her, and she said, looked at me, and she said, "Daddy changed the world." That's what Gianna said, his daughter. Daddy changed the world. And I believe she was right. Not because this kind of injustice stopped, it clearly hasn't, but because the ground has shifted, because it's changed minds and mindsets, because it laid the groundwork for progress. COVID-19 has further ripped a path of destruction through every community in America, but no one has been spared. But the devastation in communities of color has been nothing short of stunning. Just look at the numbers. 40% of frontline workers, nurses, first responders, grocery store workers, are Americans of color, and many are still living on the edge. 1 in 10 Black Americans is out of work today. 1 in 11 Latino Americans is out of work today. 1 in 7 households in America, about 1 in 4 Black, 1 in 5 Latino households in America, report that they don't have enough food to eat in the United States of America. Black and Latino Americans are dying of COVID-19 at rates nearly 3 times that of white Americans. And it's not white Americans' fault, but just a fact. And the Americans now know it, especially younger Americans. One of the reasons I'm so optimistic about this nation is that today's generation of young Americans is the most progressive, thoughtful, inclusive generation that America has ever seen.
You see, that's look. You said the most inclusive, thoughtful generation. No, the scriptures are speaking clearly that Shalakia. Scriptures tell you that his children. This is on the book of Job. This is Job 20 and 10. It says, "His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods." So we're in the time of these Edomites' children seeking to please the poor. And that's what he means by these young Americans, because these young Edomite kids, young so-called white kids, will sit here and fucking post all the fucking injustice that these devils will do on social media, thinking that they're becoming social justice warriors, and really they're just going against their own people. Because this prophecy right here, where it says the children shall seek to please the poor, man, they're trying to bend their fucking way back to sit here and show Jake, hey, I see it, I'm on your side, I'm on your side. And peep the dislikes on this video. It's cool. I put a dislike because I can see how crooked this devil's getting. Let me go to the comments real quick. It says the only battle Americans have are with a corrupt government, Joe. Already the most hated president in U.S. history. Numbers don't lie. Don't mind me just dropping my daily Biden dislike. Enemy of the people. Just like electrons, nothing will be fair and legit after this POS gets there. Just like elections, nothing will be fair and legit after this POS gets his hands on it. Equity or equality. This sounds like some more equal outcomes than equal opportunities. That's that's frightening. Equal opportunity is great. It's when you forcibly push for equal outcome that will muddy the water. You see, so people are looking at this devil with skepticism.
And they are pulling us toward justice in so many ways, forcing us to confront the huge gap in economic inequity between those at the top and everyone else, forcing us to confront the existential crisis of climate, and yes, forcing us to confront systemic racism and white supremacy. It's just been weeks since all of America witnessed a group of thugs, insurrectionists, a political extremist, and white supremacists violently attack the capital of our democracy. And so now's the time to act. It's time to act because that's what the faith and morality call us to do. Across nearly every faith, the same principles hold. We're all God's children. We should treat each other as we would like to be treated ourselves.
Now, I'm gonna go into some of these precepts I had held. So this is First Thessalonians. Now, remember the scripture I quoted. It says knowledge, and I'll just get it, man. This is Isaiah 33:6. It says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. So wisdom and knowledge is what's going to keep you stable in this time. Because if you don't have the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures, you'll look at this and be like, you know what, America's changing. You know, you'll ease up. You'll act like things are changing, and you won't remember what the scriptures tell you. This is why the scriptures tell you seek out the wisdom of the ancients and go to your fathers and ask them. So you're supposed to look at the accounts in the scriptures and see really where in the scriptures did you see this devil start caring about the so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American? Where in history, just regular history, you don't even have to look in the scriptures, did you see that this devil was for your benefit? These Edomites, man, they're here to use you. That's it. They don't see you as being equals. They never have. You know, when you go into the history of the Alamo, those so-called Mexicans that were fighting against them fucking Texans, they were fighting so that they couldn't impose slavery in the land. Because the so-called Mexicans in that time at the Alamo, they weren't with that shit. But who was fighting for that shit that they ended up making the fucking victor and started praising? Those Texans, right? At the Alamo. That's who they made the victor. The ones who wanted to put people in chains and shit. And you can be damn sure the ones that were caught that were so-called Mexican, who are Issacharites, as according to the scriptures and spirit, you could be damn sure that they were put into captivity. Now this is First Thessalonians 5:2. It says, "For yourself know perfectly that the day of Yahweh that the day of Yahweh so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." So this entire speech sounds like peace and safety, man. This entire speech sounds like peace and safety and a pacifying of an entire nation. This is Sirach. Sirach chapter 12. Sirach chapter 12 and 10. It says, Sirach 12, and I'll start at 9. It says, in the prosperity of a man, enemies will be grieved, but in his adversity, even a friend will depart. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So the scriptures tell you who you were put into captivity under are your enemies, right? When you go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, so you shall be sold unto thy enemies. And Israel has been sold under bondage unto all nations, because the scriptures tell you Judah and Ephraim went into captivity together, Judah and Israel, Judah and Israel went into captivity together. So these are your enemies, right? So verse 11, it says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. So this sounds like a whole lot of humbling right now. Trying to point facts that, oh, I see what's going on. It's really bad. I can see the inequality and opportunity and all this, right? This is what he's saying. But the scriptures tell you, as just because he goes about softly and acting like he's here for your benefit, to take heed and beware of him. And it says, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou didst wipe a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. So when you take a good heed of this man and look at his past, you'll see that, nah, this devil is still the same devil. You're not gonna pop out of the blue, ain't done shit yet, and out of nowhere you're reversing a systematic history, because this devil has history of doing Jake dirty. Verse 12, set him not by thee, least when he had overcome thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou shalt, and it says, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. So this is why the scriptures tell you not to trust your enemy, man, because he's plotting right now. He's really plotting, man. He's seeking he's seeking a take you, man. He's seeking a way to overthrow Jake. This is Psalm 69. Psalms chapter 69 and 20. It says, reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. I looked for some to take pity, but there was none, and for comforters, but I found none. So this is the state that Israel is in as a whole. Jake is looking for somebody to take pity, and then you got this devil over here on TV saying all this taking pity bullshit. But really, what did the scriptures tell you? It says, I looked for some to take pity, but there was none. So though he looks like he's doing something on your benefit, though he looks like he's sympathizing and going to do something with you and for you, hey, the scriptures tell you otherwise. This is Jeremiah 15 and 5. It says, for he shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem. For it says, for who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Thou hast forsaken me, say Yahweh. Thou art going backwards, therefore I will stretch out my hand against thee, destroy thee. I am weary with thy repenting. So the scriptures tell you, and these were rhetorical questions. Who's going aside to have pity upon Israel as a whole? Who's bemoaning us? Who really gives two shits about us? Not one of these nations, man. So when you have this devil doing it, you should look at it like, this is why it says knowledge and wisdom is going to be the stability of our times, man. You'll be able to navigate through this devil's BS through these scriptures, man. This is Sirach chapter 13. Sirach chapter 13 and 4. It says, let's start up. Sorry, 3. It says, the rich man hath done wrong, and yet he threatened withal. The poor man is wronged, and he must entreat also. So the rich man, you Edomites, you this person Joe Biden has pushed forth legislation that put Jake in jail for the rest of their lives for petty offenses. You know, and all he says in his whole campaign speech when he gets in front of people is, "We're gonna make mistakes. I just need you to help me when I make them." But let a Jake make a mistake, that could be his entire life thrown away. So that's the rich man doing wrong, and yet he'll threaten everybody when he fucks up. But when the poor man does wrong, when the poor man is wronged, when you Israelites are wrong, when they do you dirty, you got to go about all super nice. You got to keep a level head and come with a soft voice. But these devils don't have to do it. It says, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. You see? So this devil's getting ready to use you up, and he's not going to say anything about it. It says, if he have need of thee, he would deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He's putting a lot of Jake in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? And as he will shame thee by his meats. You know, all those stimulus packages, all this so-called opportunity, until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. So until he used you up 2 or 3 times. And at the last, he will laugh thee to scorn afterwards. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. So don't get caught in this devil's okie doke, man. Don't get caught in this devil's okie doke. Don't trust this devil, man. Lord willing, just edify. I didn't mean for this to go that long, but that being said, I'm gonna say shalom.